Welcome to Student, a series of animated calculus videos that will help you prepare for the AP exam. These videos were made by students for students.
I'm Gunnar, and I'm here with my partner Cole, and we will help you guys better understand implicit differentiation. So there's 4 steps for implicit differentiation. The first one is to take the derivative. Be careful when you're using product or chain rule, because getting the correct derivative here is going to decide whether you get the problem right or not. Step 2 is to separate variables without y prime in it. Step 3 is to isolate y prime. And step 4 is to factor for final answer. This is an example problem for implicit differentiation, and I got a little graph off Desmos for you guys to see what the function actually is. And x squared plus y squared equals 4 is the equation for a circle centered at 0 with the radius of 2. So the first step obviously is to differentiate, and so this is how you fully write that out. The next step is going to be to take the derivative, and you get 2x plus 2y times dy dx equals 0. Next, we're going to start spreading out the variables in order to be able to isolate y prime. So here we're writing dy dx as y prime to be able to just better visualize what's going to happen. Next, I brought the 2x over to the right side to isolate the variables with the y prime in it. So it equaled 2y times y prime equals negative 2x. And then I divided by the 2y to isolate y prime. So what we have here is y prime equals negative 2x over 2y. And lastly, we're going to factor out a 2. And it's going to equal y prime equals negative x over y. And basically what this function means is anywhere on the circle that there's a point, you can plug that into the negative x over y and get the slope. So for instance, if you were to plug in the xy values that are at the spot where the pink line hits the circle, it would equal the slope there. And that's all I have for you, and I will now hand it over to.
So this is an example of something that you would see on an AP test as a multiple choice question. So we see that it has dy dx, solve for dy dx. That means that we need to take the derivative of the function. So take the derivative and we get 10x minus 2x y prime minus 2y plus 14y y prime equals 0. Then we need to separate the y primes, get them all on one side. So that gives us 14y y prime minus 2x y prime equals 2y minus 10x. Then we can factor out the y prime. So that gives us y prime times 14y minus 2x equals 2y minus 10x. And then we just divide it over, and that gives us our answer. However, we do not see that it's up in our options, so we need to factor out a 2, and then we get y prime equals y minus 5x over 7y minus x. Now let's look at an example of an FRQ. This is from 2021 AB. So it says, consider the function y equals f of x, whose curve is given by the equation 2y squared minus 6 equals y sine x for y is greater than 0. So show that dy dx equals y cosine x over 4y minus sine x. So we need to take the derivative of 2y squared minus 6 equals y sine x. That gives us 4y y prime equals y cosine x plus y prime sine x. Then we need to separate the y primes, get them all on one side. That gives us 4y, y prime equal minus y prime sine x equals y cosine x. And we factor out the y prime. That gives us y prime times 4y minus sine x equals y cosine x. And then we just divide it over, and that's our answer.